Welcome to the Sports Hangover. Okay, do you take it? Go.
I thought I was starting, Mike. You said I could start.
Take it. I didn't know who was starting. There was a little lag. Go for it.
That's Mike. I'm J-Dog. This is a Sports Hangover, and you can't tell, but we've been doing the show for over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Well, listen, you're in a new place. Jeremy is traveling across the U.S. He's always in a different spot. You're in Jacksonville, hanging out on the beach. Just beautiful views.
Mike, it's different. I'm in Jacksonville Beach. The people in Jacksonville Beach don't want to hear that they're in Jacksonville because Jacksonville is not the best city, but Jack's Beach, as the locals call it, it's great. Young town, beach town. Reminds me a lot of Santa Monica, some of the towns in California. If you're on the East Coast, yeah, just a little bit. Just a little. We get sunrises instead of sunsets. Jack's Beach is great, so it's great to join you from here. I'd love to come to California, but I don't think anything's open.
Nothing's open. Nothing has been open. It's very weird. Let's hit some headlines. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, both retired. I guess it was more sad for Drew Brees because of that game. It was hard for me to watch it all. Didn't watch a lot of football. A lot of clips this weekend. I was on vacation. Went to a hotel and just
on vacation during a pandemic. Cool.
Yeah. Had to do it. Had to get out. Just mental health. You get out. You go hang out at a hotel by a pool. But Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, both gone.
Yeah, I don't care about Phillip Rivers. We talked about how he made $250 million throughout his career. He'll be just fine. Not sad for him. I want to talk about Drew Brees, and for you, I have a bullshit or believe to get us there.
Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe.
So here's the story that's coming out about Drew Brees. A lot of people watched the game. He was terrible. No arm strength. Really looked like he should never play again, and it turns out he's not going to. But Mike, Drew Brees' wife came out today and said that Brees played the 2020 season with a torn rotator cuff, a torn fascia in his foot, 11 broken ribs, which we didn't know about, and a collapsed lung. And I just want to go bullshit or believe on if all of that was really going on with Drew Brees this season.
You always hear this after the season, too. It's like, this guy had a torn Achilles or his ankle was this, blah, blah, blah. I kind of believe it, but and that's why I think maybe they took a little longer on his ribs. I mean, even though he came back pretty quickly, he's an old man. And listen, these are probably lingering things from previous seasons. I would believe it, but also it's kind of like, hey, guys, this is why I didn't play very well. This should have been alerted at the beginning. Did you see Drew Brees, the little video of him handing over the reins to Jameis Winston? That's who he's giving him over to. It's like,
yeah, that was kind of weird. Now Jameis Winston's a free agent after this year, and he also threw a touchdown pass in that game. The best play in the game for the Saints was the one time Jameis Winston was on the field. So maybe, and that's what I'm getting at. This is bullshit to me that this is all coming out now. And of course it's Brees' wife and not Brees. And Brees is about to be a colleague of mine. So welcome to the team, Drew. This is not being critical or anything. But if you had all these things,
what is he doing? Sunday night or Thursday night football?
We're gonna start on Notre Dame football and just go from there. We gotta make sure you're decent before you do Sunday night football. Collinsworth has that on lock. But Mike, if he had all these things going on, including the torn rotator cuff, which is a hell of a big deal for a quarterback who uses his rotator cuff to throw, Drew Brees shouldn't have been out there. And I would have loved to see Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston in that game, and would have given the Saints a better chance to win in advance. So it's a little bit of a selfish play, I think, if these things were all really wrong with Brees.
And yeah, I came into that game thinking this was Drew Brees' last game, so let's see if he can do this. And I thought he could. I went 3 for 1 over the weekend, all my picks, mostly all favorites except for Tampa Bay. But it was it's a sad way to go because it wasn't even a great game. If it was a shootout or something where it was wow, I can't believe he's doing this. And there always seems to be a little help. And listen, he's now gone. I think he'll do great on TV because I feel like he's got a lot of passion. When he's out, that's what I'm looking forward to. I like that. Go to TV. Tony Romo, almost better in the booth than he was on the field.
Yeah, and we hope Brees is too. Brees, a lot different than Romo, actually was a good NFL quarterback for most of his career and won a Super Bowl. Tony Romo's best play in the playoffs, or most memorable play, I guess, is when he fumbled that snap on the extra point as the backup quarterback and blew it for the Cowboys. Tony Romo is really good at that. People love Romo now as an analyst, and he's great. But people forget how he used to ruin the end of football games.
He wasn't the elite quarterback. He was a good mediocre, just like Dak. Just who replaced him, just mediocre, just like that. I got another
wait a second. Can we talk about Tom Brady in that game too? We talked about Brees, the other old quarterback. We're making a lot of excuses for Brees. Brees isn't 43, and Tom Brady is. Now, I saw this stat on Brady. He's made the conference championship game now. Of course, the Bucs and Packers are this weekend. We'll get to that preview. He's made the conference championship game in 74% of his seasons in the NFL. 14 out of 19 years in the conference championship game. That is insane. And it's just mind-boggling. He really is the GOAT, and we're still seeing it at 43 years old.
I have a note next to my pick this week, which is obviously going to be Tom Brady, but I have it's like Tom Brady won't die. That was all I wrote. It's like I think he's got it. Something's going on. He's doing a great job. Whatever the TB diet, TB12 diet.
TB12, right? We should basically all of America, like Dr. Fauci should come out and say, once COVID's over, we're all going on TB12 and you're all going to live very long lives.
He's got something in him. And I think this is like, if Tom Brady wins this, if he wins a Super Bowl, this will say he was greater than Bill Belichick. And I think that's what maybe he always wanted to know, or that was disputed a long time. Like, who is the greatest one? Is it Bill Belichick or is it Tom Brady? And if he wins, I think it could be Tom Brady.
Isn't the small sample size of what we've seen this year enough to say Brady's better than Belichick? Belichick had a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl, Cam Newton. Belichick was terrible. Okay, Belichick was terrible this year. Tom Brady, at times I was very critical of the Bucs this year. I was wrong about Brady and the Bucs. I never thought they would win this game. I never thought they'd be in this position, one win from the Super Bowl. Can't we say right now that Brady has surpassed Belichick?
Yeah, but again, if we're just going off a small sample size, I think Belichick will be greater in the long run. Tom Brady's got 1 year left, and like this is, if he does go to the Super Bowl, yeah, we can give it to him as like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But if next year Bill Belichick takes, the Patriots to the Super Bowl, I would say they're pretty even, because listen, Cam Newton's a piece of trash. He was not good. They went for it. They tried it. Basically, half the team did a COVID list. They didn't want to play this year.
I thought they were going to tank, but they only got the 15th pick, so it wasn't much of a tank, and it doesn't help them for the quarterback of the future. But I do think Brady's better than Belichick at this point. I'm impressed, and I was wrong. I don't say it often, Mike. You should note this. Write this down. I was wrong on Brady.
You were wrong. I like that. I'm gonna clip that. I got two other headlines real quick. Did you watch the Tiger Woods documentary?
I haven't yet. I'm a little bit. I know. So did you watch it?
I watched it.
So I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm scared to watch it because I am happy for Tiger's redemption story, and everything I hear about it is it's very critical of the guy.
So I guess I didn't find it as, I thought it was going to be more critical of Tiger Woods. It started off like, here's the history of Tiger Woods. And it was basically like, this is why Tiger Woods is the way Tiger Woods is. Look at his dad. Look at what he did. It just kind of goes off of that, right? So like in your childhood, things happen to you. You kind of replay it in your adult life. That's what happened. I didn't think it was as bad as they had the one girl on that he had like the fling with, the famous girl. I forgot what her name is. I thought it was good.
That was really Lindsey Vonn, right?
Not Lindsey Vonn. The one girl, his ex-wife that smashed the car, but at the time
that was Elin. We know Elin.
Yes, Elin, and then the girl he was like having an affair with.
Rachel, maybe her name. Rachel.
Yeah.
Something.
So having an affair with her, and I think the only thing that I didn't know is that she had like a 30-minute phone call saying like, oh, like I'm Tiger's friend, like trying to like pretend like this is why Tiger was in Australia, seen with me, blah blah blah. Not as juicy as I thought it would get. Like it seemed almost like Tiger might have had some input on it because it wasn't as juicy as you think you could have gotten on it. Like it didn't go as deep as I thought it would go on the scandal. And then it was like the redemption, like him coming back, winning, hugging his kids, stuff like that. So
that part's cool. I think Tiger's team is really good at silencing people. So I would think anyone associated with Tiger, any other apparently there were no other modern golfers that participated, which just shows the respect that Tiger has. Like not one good golfer his right caddy, now. Like
his
old caddy who. Yeah, that's what I heard. Would you recommend people watch it? Just tell them right now. Yes,
I would watch it. Yeah, it's on HBO, HBO Max, whatever. Kind of long. Like I think you're going to be there for 2.5 hours or something. It's almost like a full movie. But good. Like if you want to, it's almost crazy to think that it happened so long ago. And it's like, we've been covering Tiger the entire time that all this happened, like his peak to the kind of the bottom to back to the top. made me feel really old because we were definitely covering Tiger back in 2010 and when we started, and today 2021. So
but it's the greatest redemption story in sports ever.
Yeah.
And basically it followed the trajectory of the sports hangover. You could argue that we are a great redemption story, how we've been on the air so long. I just think we're redemption too.
Yeah. And I think the one thing is, it's like the people that want to be great are obsessed with being great. Like if I told you I'm going to go become president, like maybe I'm insane, but I think it takes an insane person to do that. And if Tiger Woods wants to be the greatest, he's out there. Like, I didn't know he had a broken, like torn ACL playing golf and like limping after every swing. And like, those are the crazy people that are always going to go above and beyond to be like, oh, I don't quit. Like you should, walk away, Tiger. Like, it's okay. Like those are the fucking crazy people that want to do it because they believe more in winning than more in themselves. I don't know. It's crazy.
What is that? Because you read a lot of books on that stuff, and I don't want to give you too much credit, but Mike's gotten really smart in the last 10 years, really reading a lot.
I need to get better. Oh, let me change my swing. Let me do this. I think it's the evolution, but also not dwelling on the past. And you always hear that with like pitchers or whatever it is, golfers, like they have to be in the moment. And I think doing that is what kind of sets them apart from a lot of it. And also obsession. Like you have to be obsessed. Like, I don't know if we have any friends that are obsessed with anything. Maybe our mutual friend in drinking, maybe something like that. Like,
oh, he's got a lot of obsessions.
Passionate about that, right? But something like that where it's like, I'm going to try to be the greatest at this and you're going to go crazy doing it. But to you, it just feels like, well, obviously I have to get here. So like, that's what I have to do to be that good. So it's interesting.
And that's why you're supposed to do something that you enjoy. To be really good at it, you have to sink your teeth in and be obsessed with it. So
for sure.
Tiger is that. And good.
So it was good. Go watch it. One more thing. Dan Le Batard left ESPN, started his own company, which I don't even know how to say it. He started with John Skipper, the former like VP of ESPN, right?
Yeah, it's called Meadowlark. I thought that's exactly how it is, right?
I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to say it. It's not like The Ringer. He didn't come up with that. And I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be.
It's the only bird, Mike. I read this. The meadowlark is the only bird that can sing as it flies.
Oh, okay.
So you weren't expecting an answer, but you got
I was not expecting an answer at all. Okay. I looked into it. I still don't understand what they're doing. I don't know if it's just going to be a podcast network, a website. It said it's going to emphasize on creator-centric point of view, which I thought all kind of shows were kind of around that. Like Dan Le Batard obviously has a voice and a show, and I don't know if they're trying to compete with The Ringer or if they're trying to do their own thing and just have this like online version of ESPN or some kind of sports centric area. But I would definitely be applying us to get on there.
Yeah, that's a good call. I've been listening to Dan Le Batard's show since high school, if that helps, the sales pitch. So that'd be great. Okay. I think what they're going for is, John Skipper. Whoa, like you said,
you're excited.
Hit my mic there.
John Skipper, listen up.
Hey, John, listen to this one. So John Skipper used to be at ESPN, and of course, he did all these programming deals for major sports and all that. And in the time since, in the 5 years or so since he was at his height of power, everything is going the individual route, whether it's podcasters, whether it's YouTube, whether it's different types of shows that you can just make yourself. Now, in the last 10 months, we've been living through COVID. Everyone can do content from their computer, just like we've been doing for a long time. Now everyone's realizing that every guest on cable news is on Zoom in their living room, just like I am here. So I think everyone is able to create content, and I think it's a great idea to pivot. And then you just cherry pick 100 or 1,000 or 5,000 different podcasts. If a few hit or if a few YouTube shows hit, you're probably going to make money on it.
Now, just because I feel like John Skipper, so former ESPN, but he also started DAZN, right? Like it's a lot of boxing, another sports like subscription app, I think, on like, I don't know, TVs, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what they want this to be, because at first I thought, well, if John Skipper, you heard the names like Dan Le Batard, John Skipper, maybe he's going to join DAZN, maybe make DAZN bigger and better. This sounds like a weird pivot, because maybe DAZN, they want to be more like ESPN and have bigger, high profile, like live sports. I don't know what this will be. And it's weird when like Dan Le Batard has a lot of people that will follow him over. Like I'm curious to see and listen to what this is going to be. Obviously the show is going to be the same, but I'm curious what this new network will be like, because I think they must have seen what The Ringer did, right? Like, oh, it took him 3 years. He sold it for $250 million to Spotify, and he still gets to do whatever he wants. And I think that's kind of probably what they're trying to set up for, right? Like, oh, I'm going to build this up. Somebody needs to come acquire it because this is what we're going to try to do. And I don't know in the sports world what we need right now, but I don't know if it's because there's a lot of content. Like we do all sports content, pop culture, whatever. But I don't know in the mainstream world what they're looking to do that's different than what people are doing right now, because I don't watch a lot of TV.
DAZN is different, right? DAZN is a direct-to-consumer subscription service where you pay money, you belong to DAZN, and then you get a certain amount of content. They're in boxing, they're in UFC. I think they need to expand. I think they did like one baseball game a week or something like that. They need to expand into more mainstream sports. I don't know that they have the funding for that right now, but Le Batard's not going to be involved with that as much. I thought one of the interesting parts of Le Batard's leaving ESPN is he negotiated in his buyout to keep the RSS feed that the podcast lives on, Mike. So he gets to keep all of those subscribers, which I thought was a hell of a win for Le Batard when you think about his loyal fan base. And it makes sense where you figure he'll be able to convert most of them to wherever he goes because they are loyal and they're not necessarily the average ESPN fan. Like the Mike Greenberg listener is a lot different than the Dan Le Batard listener. Sure. But I thought that was an interesting pivot. And so I just think whenever we go our separate ways, I'm requesting our RSS feed and all current subscribers right now. I'm just putting that.
Well, listen, we'll have to talk about it. We'll have to get the lawyers involved if that ever happens. But all right, I got a bullshit or believe for you.
Okay.
Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time.
Okay. Bullshit or believe, Jeremy. We've talked about this for a few weeks now. You keep freezing on me, so I'm just going to keep talking. Bullshit or believe. I can kind of hear you. Yes. Bullshit or believe. Who will be getting Deshaun Watson? Because this is a big conversation. Things have been happening since we last spoke.
Yeah.
A lot of heated. He doesn't like the GM or the owner of the league of Houston Texans. And now a lot of more people are involved in the conversation. So who do you think it's going to be? Because now I saw the Raiders. I know Miami. Miami's really interested in dumping Tua. Did you see that report today that they're like, we're totally like not on board with Tua? Where's my little? I had like a.
I didn't see that report. Where was that? You didn't see that?
Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Where was that? As you go through that, are you going to give me a list, or should I just name the team I think he's going to?
Well, I had. Oh, so here we are. The Texans are not high on. The Texans are not high on Dolphins QB Tua, who Miami would likely
trade. Like a negotiation. That doesn't sound like a real thing.
It doesn't sound like a real thing. Well, the only two I had were Miami, the Raiders, and then I even had the Jets in there. I thought the Jets were in the conversation for Deshaun, but I don't think Deshaun wants to go to a team that bad. So I just want you to maybe, were there any other teams that you saw that might be likely?
There's one, and I watched them this weekend. I watched the Rams-Packers game, and I couldn't stop thinking about how much the Rams regret Jared Goff and how good that defense is and how good their skill position players are. And they are a quarterback away. And I was thinking, how can Sean McVay get his hands on Deshaun Watson? Can they pay all of Goff's contract and ship a bunch of draft picks? They might have to ship some talent. Do you trade Cam Akers, the new running back? Do you trade a Robert Wood just to get talent over there? I don't know exactly how it lines up. It's probably not possible and not a real thing. I would love Sean McVay and Deshaun Watson. I bet Deshaun Watson, who's currently in Cabo posting pictures on a boat with his hot girlfriend, I'm sure he would love LA. I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't think the Dolphins thing is going to happen, as we recap last week, because the Dolphins have a plan and Tua is part of the plan and we're good there. I'm worried about the Jets as a Dolphins fan. They have the draft picks. They have number 2 overall, so the Texans could draft a quarterback at that spot and then additional draft picks. They have a new head coach there. But you're right. I don't think Deshaun Watson's like a New York City guy. I don't see it right now. He wants out of Houston.
He wants out. Sure. But I don't think he wants to go to another shitty team. So it's like, do you want to go to the Jets? Probably not, but it could be a spot. And do you want to go in division? Like, are you going to go to another AFC team, or are you going to try to go to an NFC team so it's not direct competition? I don't know if that matters at that point. Like Miami's an AFC. Clearly, they're going to try to negotiate. I have no idea.
One of the problems for Watson, and it sucks for him, is the Texans traded a lot of draft picks over the years to try to get better for Watson to win. And people forget, and I think you might have been the one to remind me last week, was it that the Texans and Deshaun Watson were beating the Chiefs 24-0 in the second round of the playoffs last year, and they lost the game, and their team went to shit after that. Now, so he's been playing without a lot of talent. Now he's going to go to a new team, and whatever new team trades for him, whether that is the Jets or the Dolphins or someone else, they're going to trade all their draft picks for Deshaun Watson. So again, he's going to come into a situation where he doesn't have a lot of resources. He doesn't have a lot of young players around him. That's a concern. I don't know how you fix that because whatever team trades for him is going to have to give up a lot.
Well, you got to get a team that has all those picks that can just get Deshaun, because you could say that what's a percentage of like top 5 picks that actually hit every year? Like, would you want to give it like a 25% chance that like those few picks hit?
Quarterbacks are at least under 50%, I would say. Okay. Quarterbacks specifically.
So if we're going quarterbacks, maybe defensive players. If it's less than that, I would say giving up a few top picks for Deshaun would make sense. And there's only a few teams that have that many picks available. So,
yeah,
I mean, we'll see, but it's a big move. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest, because I would say they're immediately a playoff contender at that point.
The Dolphins or the Jets?
Anybody who gets Deshaun, I think
you're
would
right.
Immediately
in the expanded playoff. I mean, we saw some bad teams sneak in the first round.
Definitely some bad teams. Do you want to do, what do you got? Big dick energy or scandal?
I have a story for you. This is a small dick energy, Mike. Okay. This is something that applies to you. Now, a lot of people out there suck at sports betting, and I'm not saying that you do. I just know that there were some weeks we jumped on the podcast here and things weren't so good, right?
Sure. Yeah. Always happens.
Well, you have a lot in common, Mike, with the Barstool Bros, because I found this stat and it was shocking to me. Okay. At Penn Sportsbooks nationwide, they took in $72 million of bets in December. Bettors lost $14 million of the $72 million they brought in. Normally, the margins are 3 or 4% in sports betting. This is what I'm learning. The book will make 3 or 4% based on the 50-50-ness of every matchup, if you will. Bettors lost 19% at Penn National Sportsbooks. For comparison, DraftKings bettors in the same month of December lost 4%. Why are the Barstool Bros gambling at Penn National so bad at sports betting?
It's got to be that hype, right? They're following the bets. Like if you were following along with the sports hangover this year, you might have lost just as much as them. And I think that's the difference, right? When you're doing it on FanDuel, it's like you're individually there. You're not having a whole bunch of guys tell you, hey, you should bet, put 10 grand on this, put 10 grand on that. Like we're saying, like put $5 on this, put $5 on that. You might lose it, but that's not a big deal. But I think at this other one, Barstool's kind of guiding that a little bit. And that could be the effect. So listen, if I was that casino, I'd be pumping in money to Barstool saying, mention more bets, do a show all goddamn day about gambling. You're making us millions of dollars.
Also, side note, Andrew Yang, who is now running for mayor of New York City. I might live there one day, so I would love that. He wants to open up casinos all over Manhattan to bring in hundreds of $millions every month of revenue into the city instead of other states, because like New Jersey and Connecticut are starting to do it. So he's worried that they're going to have the casinos. People will leave the city and they won't get the money. So Andrew Yang, thinking outside the box as always, wants casinos in Manhattan. And it's hard to picture, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to play devil's advocate real quick. Wouldn't it make it like a seedy city? Because you go on the like outskirts of Vegas a little bit and it kind of gets a little gross. And I imagine, in New York, like I wouldn't say every street's beautiful, but there could be some side streets that you go onto and there could be a casino. Then like it's weird vibes. Like unless it's like Vegas Strip style, like, oh, we're only in Times Square. Yeah. Then it would work. But if it's like on the outskirts and like random ass little parts of the city, then it could get super shady.
Well, Andrew Yang made the point. There's a lot of bad things that come with gambling, sports betting addiction, losing all your money, crime, sex, alcoholism, all that fun stuff. And you're right. There are some downsides. But if you're making $750 million in revenue from your casinos for the city to help homelessness, to help bring people back, to help local businesses, to help healthcare, that could be a good thing in the long run.
That could be a good thing. I like that. Scandal City?
Let's do it.
Oh, where is it? There it is.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
All right, you want to go first, or maybe we have the same scandal and we don't even know?
I hope we do. So you tell me yours.
It's about the Mets GM.
No, but that's a good one.
Okay. All right. You go first. Let me hear yours.
Okay, that's good. Mine is the University of Tennessee apparently has been recruiting football players with by giving them McDonald's when they come on campus for their visit. Seems harmless enough. Inside the McDonald's bag, Mike, is cash money. And that's what Tennessee football has been doing. cash in the McDonald's bag. Can you
I love
believe it? Yeah, it's pretty smooth. I never would
So
have
how
thought of
much
it myself.
cash are we talking? Is a couple like 10,000,
I
20,000?
think that's a little much. Couple hundred. I mean, these are 18-year-old kids just coming for the weekend, so they think they get an Egg McMuffin and they get 500. That's a big difference, and they're going to play at Tennessee. Now, it hasn't helped Tennessee. They've been terrible for many years now, and sadly enough, just today they hired UCF's athletic director as their new athletic director. So UCF is losing one of the main architects of their national championship season.
Is it this year or next year when kids can start getting paid? Do we know?
I think it's this coming year, 2021.
It's gonna be big, a lot of money. And I'm going to tell you this. I hope not a lot of people don't go out and do this, but the Sports Hangover will definitely be sponsoring lower tier players like the backup kicker. We're going to be sponsoring a lot of these other players that people might not know, but they're going to wear the Sports Hangover swag. They'll be paid in Sports Hangover swag. That's how.
Like when they walk to the stadium, they show them like getting to the stadium. They're going to be wearing the Sports Hangover hoodie, and that's going to be a lot of branding for us that we haven't had exposure to before.
I love it. Seriously though, we are going to find kids like that. Mine is the Mets GM sent. Can I just tell you this? This is like etiquette. Let me tell you this. The Mets GM sent 62 straight unanswered text messages and dick pics to a foreign female reporter. Now, for etiquette, I would say if you don't get like a text message back after like a question or something, maybe don't follow up. Maybe follow up like, hey, did you get my text message? Something like that. I would not recommend sending dick pics. Like sometimes, our mutual friend, he doesn't answer me. He like avoids all contact with me for some reason sometimes.
So he sends you a dick pic?
No, he doesn't send me a dick pic, but I would never send him a dick pic if I was trying to get a hold of him. Like, hey, can you answer this call? Kind of weird. So
I don't think that's the relationship dynamic at play here. It was a bad story. So they just hire this guy. So Steve Cohen, super rich guy, buys the Mets, and he hires a GM. They start slinging deals, and everything's looking good for the Mets. They're all excited, and then this comes out, and like you said, 62 texts, straight texts without a response, including a dick pic to a female reporter. Clearly sexual harassment, clearly inappropriate, clearly had to be fired, and he was. So congrats to the Mets on that swift action. I have a few friends that'll send like 5 or 6 texts in a burst. And like, instead of like, how like, instead of typing like 4 lines, they'd rather send 4 texts. It pisses me off. And I tell people when it pisses me off and they don't stop. 62 would definitely be a record for me.
Yeah. I hate the people that do like, hey, what's up? Are you doing it? It's like, let's just get all one thought down, because you don't need to send this many text messages because my phone's beeping, vibrating.
That's the thing. The notifications, I mean, that they would drive me nuts. Anyway, I like to silence text as it is.
Yeah, I do too. A lot of muted conversations.
All right, let's get into. Can we treat women with respect? It's 2021. They've been through a lot. Everyone's been through a lot. Can we just treat everyone with a little respect going forward?
Yeah. Don't send dick pics. This should be a block. You know what you should do? You should go on to those secure apps like Signal or Telegram, where everybody's going now, to like have personal conversations. Like if you wanted to text with me, because there's no encryption in any of the messaging apps right now, so anybody can hack it. And I think that's how people are finding all these things. But if you want to have a conversation, it's weird. Everybody's like moving over to these apps.
I think it's all QAnon when you go there. Don't expect like dick pics or relationship conversations.
No. It's like a messaging app. It's like a WhatsApp, but just like secure. So
I know, but I think that's where QAnon is now, that they're not allowed on any other platforms.
Yeah.
So that's why they're all there too, and they're causing problems on those sites.
All right, let's get into our bets. Luckily, we both have 2 teams left. I thought I was going to be totally out of it.
You're right. You recovered well. You have the away teams this week. You have the Bucks and the Bills. I have the home teams, Packers, Chiefs. When we did the draft a few weeks ago, I thought you were done. I thought I was counting my Bitcoin money. Luckily for you, Bitcoin is crashing right now, so you'll have a good endpoint to buy me that one coin if the Packers or Chiefs win the Super Bowl. The big question now, and I assume you're going to stick to your guns, is you're going to take the road teams, the Bucks and the Bills, this weekend.
I'm doing it all. I got what's going on? Oh, Thomas is live on the chat. Breaking news: Japan considering canceling the Olympics. All right, well, that's breaking news to us. I thought
it's not a good thing.
I thought the Olympics were already canceled from last year, right? Or were they rescheduled?
They were moved to this summer, yeah. We have a helicopter outside. Excuse the noise.
You're on the beach. What are you going to do? All right. So if you want to talk, do you want to talk about the games at all? I didn't watch a lot of them. A lot of highlights. Mahomes is hurt. I think this is
one thing. someone asked me today if Mahomes is going to play, and I said what Colin Cowherd said: if he can't play, we have to delay the game. We're not going to have an AFC Championship game with Chad Henne at quarterback. Sorry, Bills fans, we need to wait. There's 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. We can push it back a few days.
I just regret not putting more money on the Bills when I said they were going to win last year. I'm all in on the Bills. I think the Bills are going to beat Kansas City. Mahomes, there's no way you can be correct after a concussion. Headaches, head pain, whatever it is, back pain, neck pain. I think this is an advantage for the Bills. Unfortunately, it's an advantage. Mahomes, obviously, we'd want to see. I mean, it'd be crazy for a repeat this year and him going to win. But I think the Bills, this is like everything's falling in place, right? Didn't what's his name get hurt the last game when he's playing? Why can't Lamar Jackson playing the Bills?
Yeah, the Ravens didn't look good in that game, and then they had the backup quarterback coming in to try to lead the drive, and that was ugly too. You're right. People forget you had Bills Cowboys Super Bowl. Now the problem with you betting a lot on the Bills before the season is you probably would have bet a lot on the Cowboys too, so it may have offset somewhat. But regardless, you said it, and you got to stick to your guns now. I think Mahomes will be fine. If anyone can recover from a concussion, it's Mahomes. And I'm not betting against that man in an AFC Championship game for the rest of my life. I'll tell you that.
And then the Tampa Bay Green Bay game. I'm taking Tampa Bay here. I told you at the beginning of the show, Tom Brady won't die. I think it's his year. I know Green Bay, a lot of cruising, but Tom Brady came into Green Bay, right? Or did Aaron Rodgers come in? I don't know if it was away or whatever, but Tom Brady.
You're right. That was in Tampa. And Rodgers got out to a 7-0 lead, and the Bucs destroyed them. It was like 43-7. It was crazy. Are you taking the Bucs money line?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucs money line.
What's the line?
I don't even know. Now that I'm like,
you're on money line.
I could look it up.
I think honestly that's inexcusable, Mike. It's inexcusable to take Bucs money line. And I've been wrong about Brady.
Money line. Well, it's a 3.5 point spread.
Okay, so that's an easy -3.5 for the Packers. They're going to cover so easily. I've been wrong about Brady throughout the year. I've been wrong about the Bucs. The Saints were not the Saints we're used to. There were not many fans at the Superdome. Were there any? I don't even remember. The Bucs defense was fine. I don't trust them. It was a close game with Drew Brees having every injury I listed a little bit ago. The Bucs will not win in Green Bay. I will bet it all. I will bet all of my everything, Mike, that the Packers will win the game and cover -3.5. And if that doesn't happen, I'll come on this show and you can rip me for it next week.
Okay. Tom, the Bucs are +140 to win the game, so almost 2-1 on the money. Maybe
I hate the money line bet there. I hate it. And sorry to our Tampa fans listening. Listen, there's a lot of Tampa fans that we're friends with. Mike was a Bucs fan before he was a fan of 8 other teams, but I don't think they're going to win. I'm just surprised they're here.
Well, I hope they win. We can't. I mean, Kansas City Green Bay would be a great Super Bowl, but I think Bucs Tampa Bay. That would be a fun one.
Not so good a Super Bowl. Bucs Bills, not so good. It is in Tampa, so we saw this before. And the team that has a chance to play the Super Bowl at home, it just never happens. Never happens.
But hopefully this year. That's all I got, Jeremy. Big games this weekend. I'm excited for them. I'm actually going to watch them. I'm going to be home to watch them all, so I'll be ready for next week.
Sunday's a big day. Clear your schedule. Glad you got a vacation in. Take care of your mental health. We've been through a lot. We have a new era in the country starting yesterday. It's great to see some normalcy going on. Hopefully it's a great beacon for 2021 and the rest of the years to come. And let's just take care of each other and no more dick pics, really.
Yeah, no more. Just stop sending me those, Jeremy. All right, check out thesportshangover.com. Everything's there. Follow us on Instagram at the Sports Hangover Podcast. And if we can go to the rest of Melissa Reviews, hopefully we are back next week.